Speaker, thank you for the opportunity to add my voice to the debate. But whilst thanking you, I would like to thank the committee for their industry, their candid views expressed, and the fact that they have managed to take this report. Mr. Speaker, it is my submission that stability is not transformation, and the committee's own report proves that. Speaker, the report seeks to celebrate disinflation to about 3.3%. If you look at paragraph 6.1.2. But Mr. Speaker, disinflation means prices are rising more slowly. It does not mean prices have come down. If you ask a market woman in my constituency, a Futu, or a trotro driver in Teshi, whether their cost of living has fallen, they will tell you, Mr. Speaker, the stability in the spreadsheet is not a relief in their pocket and in their kitchen. Mr. Speaker, I also want the record to reflect where this journey began. Inflation was already on a steep downward path before this government took office. The trajectory was set. The governor himself, per the report, inherited a stabilizing framework, including the domestic gold purchase program that this report says grew our gold from 8.7 tons in 2021 to over 40 tons. The question is, who started the program in 2021? And let those who inherited the harvest not claim that they planted the tree. In fact, Mr. Speaker, they must give to Baumia what belongs to Baumia. Mr. Speaker, the report also talks about the 24-hour economy, and it demolishes the policy if you read carefully paragraph 6.5. Mr. Speaker, if you read paragraph 6.5.1 of the committee's own report, agriculture receives only about 5% of the total bank lending. If you read 6.5.2, the committee itself warns that low financing to agriculture and manufacturing could undermine efforts to promote job creation and industrial growth. So I ask a simple question. Which factories and with what credit will run the three shifts of this so-called 24-hour economy? A 24-hour economy is a production economy, but the government's own committee tells us the productive sectors are starved of finance while credit flows to services and to the state. Mr. Speaker, if you proceed to paragraph 7.2, that also concedes that high lending rate persists. I hope the finance minister will read this report. Mr. Speaker, no entrepreneur borrows at these rates to open a night shift. The tight monetary stance that delivered this inflation, the majority is celebrating, is a very policy squeezing the private sector they claim will deliver 24-hour economy. They are applauding the brake pedal while promising acceleration. Mr. Speaker, the 24-hour economy will not be delivered by government bureaucracy. It will be delivered by the private sector. Yet the private sector is not receiving the necessary incentive. Mr. Speaker, the 24-hour economy, which finances 5% of credits to agriculture, is a 24-hour economy on paper, running 0 shifts. Mr. Speaker, what the report does not tell the House, the cost of the applause. The governor told the committee his presentation will cover the financial implications of these policy actions for the bank's balance sheet. Yet, the observations are silent on it. Why? Because the Bank of Ghana audited accounts show staggering losses and a deep negative equity. If we are adopting a report commending the bank, this House deserves the full balance sheet, not the flattering half. Mr. Speaker, the committee itself, at paragraph 6.3.4, again felt compelled to demand transparency in reserve management decisions, including conversion of gold holdings. When a committee chaired by the majority feels the need to write that sentence, Mr. Speaker, it is telling us something politely that we should plainly know. Show us the books. Mr. Speaker, at paragraph 6.6, The committee admits the whole edifice rests on commodity prices and geopolitics. Our stability today is rented from the gold price. Rented stability is not owned prosperity. Mr. Speaker, the report commends the bank in 8 pages and hides the bill in the footnotes. Mr. Speaker, now let me deal with the missing chapter in the report. Power, production, and the ordinary Ghanaian. What is the use of a strong city to a factory that has no power at night? You cannot run 3 shifts in the dark. Again, they canceled the 1D1F policy. In its place, no policy alternative. No policy alternative. Mr. Speaker, if you say you want to achieve 1 job, 3 shifts, you want to run a 24-hour economy, one of the incentives to drive this is electricity. Since they came into office, they have increased electricity tariffs by almost 30%. What incentive do you have? We propose to them that they should continue the reform we started, but they will not listen. Mr. Speaker, 24-hour economy with high electricity tariffs. How can people afford? Meanwhile, the energy sector levy was also introduced, that if you buy a liter of petrol, you pay 1 cedi. So you have compounded the problems of the private sector and households, yet you say you want to create a 24-hour economy. Mr. Speaker, that is wrong. Mr. Speaker, a government that says it wants to create 1 job, 3 shifts, they are on record to have embarked on mass dismissal of public sector employees. If you look at even today, Mr. Speaker, our order paper, page 25, motion 40. Motion 40 addresses it. If you are committed to creating jobs, you don't commit to dismissing people. This motion we have here, which is over a year, is aimed at restoring those who lost their jobs. So you are a walking contradiction, very inconsistent. You say you are creating jobs, but you are dismissing people. No, there's no job creation. Mr. Speaker, this government introduced the Feed Ghana initiative. And the Feed Ghana was aimed at introducing poultry that would create jobs. We celebrated them. We said that's a good initiative. But Mr. Speaker, what were the guardrails to ensure that that capital from the state that was invested was returned? The Minister of Agriculture, on record, stated that those who were given the birds, Mr. Speaker, in his own words, they have consumed them. Mr. Speaker, he again said that they sent him videos as evidence. Mr. Speaker, if a government is introducing a policy to create jobs, and the very job that the policy is supposed to create is leading to losses, if you are doing investment, invest. Don't invest in consumption. Invest in a project that will bring you returns. So you went to share beds to your party members to consume them. The broilers were never sold. Mr. Speaker, a friend from Choco told me that I made a warfare. Mr. Speaker, in other words, as the minister said, they've eaten it. But they were supposed to sell the ones that will lay eggs, to sell their egg and reinvest. Mr. Speaker, now let me ask. Now that they have consumed the birds, what will become of them? What is the accountability in it? You guys are talking about accountability. So your party members who got the birds, that they say they've consumed and are giving evidence to the minister, are you going to send them to Yoko? Because it is state funds, it's also amount to looting, however the amount. Mr. Speaker, let me get to the next point. Mr. Speaker, the gold board. 24-hour economy means investing in the economy, especially agriculture, so that the economy is stimulated, we depend on locally produced food, less dependency on imports, and grow our economy and stabilize our city. Mr. Speaker, what the government is doing is over-emphasizing on the goal for reserve. And what they are doing, Mr. Speaker, largely, is to encourage galamsey. It's the reason why the organized labor at May Day publicly stated that galamsey has increased. Mr. Speaker, as we speak, there is no distinction between regularly mined gold and galamsey mined gold. They buy everything. And you cannot use one sector alone to the disadvantage of other sectors of the economy. So you cannot achieve 24-hour economy on paper. Mr. Speaker, it is wrong. They lack the understanding of the policy itself. Mr. Speaker, my last important point. Mr. Speaker, as we speak, the finance minister has not introduced a policy that would create an enabling environment for industry, the private sector, to access patients' capital. Mr. Speaker, I have to explain that terminology. I'm an entrepreneur. Patients' capital is that capital that is paid back in the long term, 8, 10, 15 years. Mr. Speaker, they have failed totally to create that enabling environment. Mr. Speaker, when the minority met the AGI, when the minority met the Ghana Employers Association, when the minority met GUTA, they told us that there's policy mismatch. And minority did not do that in secrecy. We got the cameras there to observe proceedings and report on them. Industry players were loud, unequivocal, and bold. They said there is policy mismatch. The policy mismatch is not encouraging that stimulation. It's not helping them to grow the economy. Mr. Speaker, it is only the private sector that can grow economy. By the way, we are aware that you have overburdened the private sector with taxes. VAT. Yes. VAT, Mr. Speaker, you have increased the VAT and even expanded it. You know, you came with the legislation. And the worst of all, you introduced this so-called publican. We are not against AI. But you see, with AI, if you feed it with garbage, you get garbage out. You must implement it properly, get the right data. Importers are suffering. Importers are suffering. And when importers are suffering and folding up their businesses, how do you create a 24-hour economy? Mr. Speaker, we are not interested in political talk. Settings. We are not talking about the optics, making noise and dancing, Mahama hey, Mahama hey. No. You, the majority, can heckle me. But in your heart, you know that no jobs are being created in your constituencies. One of you should rise and challenge me that there's an industry, 1.5 years. You have industry growing in your various constituencies. One of you should rise. One of you should rise and tell me the number of jobs created for the youth who supported you in the campaign. Even recruitment into security services, you couldn't get your protocol. They couldn't help you. Then you come and heckle the minority leader who is speaking for you and speaking for the private sector. You better commend me. Mr. Speaker, I want you not just to talk about 24-hour economy on paper. Mr. Speaker, I speak boldly and passionately because I am a private sector player. I meet my industry friends and they tell me the story and I know it. We are paying too much taxes. There's no incentive. You bring in equipment, raw materials, and there's no incentive. Mr. Speaker, I am telling my colleagues that beyond the debates, let's face the reality. It is not the partisanship here. This report does not talk about anything, any supporting pillar by government to create jobs. You are sacking people. One way at achieving this 24-hour economy is to reform our economy. You brought a minister. I vetted that minister. That woman has become redundant. Mr. Speaker, that ministry is redundant. You are not pursuing any reform. And when the government announced that it was introducing 1 job, 3 shifts, the youth of the country were happy and expectant. To the extent that the youth relied on that promise and voted the government in, a legitimate expectation was created. Mr. Speaker, to the extent that the youth of this country rely on that promise and voted for this government, a legitimate expectation arose. It is our duty as minority to remind government that you cannot talk on the political platform, get the power and resolve. You can't resolve. Ensure that your policies are well anchored on your own promises. Mr. Speaker, these promises that you made, you thought you were just making the promises. After getting power, you get away with it. You cannot get away with it. However, our numbers, we are just 87. But our voices are strong. We've done good research. We can remind you of the promises and let Ghanaians know that you misled them and that you don't walk the talk. Even your own 189, you cannot create an enabling environment for their constituents. Mr. Speaker, I will conclude by saying that this report before this House is a wake-up call to government itself. Honorable Eric Afo, my respected colleague who signed this report with a hard-working clerk, what they have done must be a wake-up call to government. Simply put, when you read this report, it tells of a simple story: failure by government to implement its own policies. The women banking, you said the women, you give them credit. The credit was supposed to be an incentive for this 24-hour economy. You have 40 women on your side. They go to their constituencies. The women ask for the loans. You have 40 women on the majority side. When they go to their constituencies, the women in their constituencies are demanding for the loan. The credit facility, the market women, they all want money to trade. And you sit here, point of order, point of order, point of order. Eh? When you recently visited Jubilee House, we thought there was going to be warfare. It was only talk, talk, talk. Promise, promise, and qua. They didn't do anything for you. So you and I are the same. We are the same. Mr. Speaker, we say that if there is going to be 24-hour economy, it shouldn't be just talk. Create the jobs. The foot soldiers who fought for you at the polling station, they are suffering. They are hungry.
That's why they are.
And then you are bringing here, you say they shouldn't eat the birds. They've eaten them.
Honorable Minority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, to conclude, we want the government to sit with us because, Mr. Speaker, issues of employment is a national issue. And in fact, inability of government to resolve unemployment issue becomes a security issue. So it is the promise of the minority that should government call upon us to sit around the table to discuss a true policy to create jobs. Mr. Speaker, we are more than willing. Mr. Speaker, we would encourage them and also advise them that in doing so, don't create any impression that will put doubts on the minds of investors, especially on rule of law, like the way you've arrested Miracle Abuaji, keeping him for 3 days. Mr. Speaker, it's against the rule of law. The sacking of the Chief Justice, it gives a wrong signal. We would teach you